Why your legs matter more than you think. It often starts with something so small, you barely notice. One morning, you hesitate before taking the stairs. You grip the railing a little tighter. You pause halfway, catching your breath, wondering, was it always this hard? Most people think strength fades all at once, like a sudden storm. But in truth, it slips away quietly. A missed step here, a little wobble there. Until one day, you realize that something vital has changed. And it all began with something as simple as one step. Your legs are more than just limbs. They are your freedom. They carry your independence, your confidence, your ability to live life fully. When your legs weaken, it's not just harder to move. It's harder to be who you are. But here's the truth many don't realize. Leg weakness after 50 isn't inevitable. It's a message from your body, asking for attention, care, and change. Today, we invite you on a journey. Not just to understand why this happens, but to discover how to turn it around. Together, we'll explore the 10 most common reasons why legs lose strength with age, and more importantly, the practical steps you can take to rebuild what was lost. Because healing isn't about racing back to the past. It's about moving forward, stronger, steadier, and more free than you ever thought possible. Your next chapter begins with a single step. Let's take it together. When your feet can't feel, the hidden danger of nerve damage. Sometimes it's not the muscles that fail you first. It's the signals. Imagine walking across the room but feeling like your feet are cushioned by sponges. Or standing up, only to realize your legs don't quite trust the ground beneath you. This unsettling sensation often points to peripheral neuropathy, a condition where damaged nerves disrupt the vital communication between your brain, spine, and muscles. Peripheral neuropathy becomes more common after 50, especially among those with diabetes, vitamin B12 deficiency, or circulatory issues. According to Mayo Clinic, nearly 1/3 of seniors experience some form of nerve damage in their legs or feet. The early signs are subtle: tingling, numbness, slight burning. But over time, these symptoms can snowball into real weakness, making walking unsteady and increasing the risk of dangerous falls. Left untreated, neuropathy can quietly steal away both strength and confidence. Yet there's hope, and it starts with awareness. Managing blood sugar levels carefully is crucial, especially for those living with diabetes. For others, ensuring adequate vitamin B12 intake through foods like eggs, dairy, and fortified cereals can help nourish nerve health. Regular checkups, simple blood tests, and proactive conversations with your doctor can catch problems early, before they deepen. Mr. James, a 64-year-old retired teacher, first noticed a strange numbness in his toes. Instead of ignoring it, he sought help early. With dietary changes, B12 supplements, and a simple daily walking routine, he not only stabilized his condition, but regained the steady stride he feared he'd lost. Peripheral neuropathy doesn't have to define your journey. With mindfulness, nutrition, and timely care, you can protect the precious connection between your mind and your movement, and walk forward with trust in every step. Crippled by circulation, the blood flow breakdown you must know. You might think aching legs are just part of getting older. But sometimes, pain while walking isn't about tired muscles, it's about blood struggling to reach where it's needed most. Peripheral artery disease, or PAD, is a hidden force that narrows the arteries in your legs, quietly starving your muscles of oxygen. At first, it's easy to miss. Maybe you feel a cramp in your calf after a brisk walk, or a deep ache after climbing stairs. The pain fades when you rest, so you shrug it off. But as Mayo Clinic points out, this start-stop leg pain, called claudication, is often the first whisper of PAD. Left unaddressed, PAD can limit not just your ability to move, but your entire independence. Poor circulation weakens the legs, slows healing, and dramatically raises the risk of falls, infections, and even strokes. The good news is that PAD is not a sentence, it's a signal. It's your body's way of asking for change. Quitting smoking, if applicable, is one of the most powerful steps you can take. Smoking accelerates arterial damage faster than almost any other factor. Managing blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels through a heart-healthy diet and daily activity can also make a dramatic difference. Even simple walks, slow, steady, persistent, can train your body to form new blood pathways, strengthening your legs over time. Take Mrs. Helen, 67, who once struggled to walk 2 blocks without sitting down. With her doctor's help, she joined a walking program, committed to tiny, daily increases. 6 months later, she could stroll through her entire neighborhood without stopping, feeling not only stronger legs, but a stronger spirit. PAD is serious, but it's also deeply manageable. By recognizing the signs early and embracing small daily habits, you can restore the flow of life to your legs and keep moving forward with grace and strength. Sunlight deficiency. How lack of vitamin D drains your power. It's easy to forget how much we rely on the sun, not just for warmth, but for strength. Beneath our skin, sunlight helps create vitamin D, a vital nutrient that fuels muscle power, balance, and energy. Without enough of it, even the strongest legs can start to falter. As we grow older, our bodies become less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. We also tend to spend more time indoors, shielding ourselves from the very source that powers our movement. Over time, this deficiency can quietly erode muscle strength, drain stamina, and raise the risk of falls, often without obvious warning signs. Many seniors don't realize that muscle cramps, frequent fatigue, or that subtle feeling of weak legs could be linked to low vitamin D. Healthline and Mayo Clinic both emphasize that vitamin D deficiency is one of the most common and most overlooked contributors to mobility problems after 50. The good news? Reclaiming your vitality starts with reconnecting to nature. A few minutes of morning sunlight on your arms and face, just 10 to 15 minutes several times a week, can make a meaningful difference. For those in colder climates or with limited sun exposure, fortified foods like milk, cereals, and orange juice, along with natural sources like salmon, tuna, and egg yolks, help bridge the gap. Sometimes, supplements are necessary, but always under the guidance of a healthcare provider. A simple blood test can tell you if your levels are low, and correcting them can bring surprising improvements in balance, muscle tone, and confidence. Mrs. Land, 72, spent much of her retirement indoors, knitting by the window but rarely venturing outside. After a routine blood test revealed a vitamin D deficiency, she made small changes. Daily short walks under the sun, adding more salmon and fortified yogurt to her meals. Within months, her legs felt steadier and her steps lighter, not just physically, but in spirit too. The sun still rises for you. Sometimes healing begins with the simplest acts: stepping outside, lifting your face to the sky, and letting the light do its quiet, powerful work. The inactivity trap: how sitting still ages your legs faster. At first, sitting feels harmless, even comforting. After all, you've earned the right to rest after decades of work and movement. But what starts as comfort can quietly turn into a trap. Over time, too much sitting doesn't just make you stiff, it steals the very strength your legs need to carry you through life. When we sit for hours each day, our muscles, especially the powerful ones in our thighs and calves, grow weaker from disuse. Harvard Health reminds us, muscles are meant for action. Without regular movement, they shrink, lose tone, and compromise balance and endurance. This muscle loss makes everyday activities like standing up, climbing stairs, or even taking a walk feel harder than they should. The impact doesn't stop with strength. Long periods of inactivity slow blood flow, stiffen joints, and make it easier to gain unhealthy weight, all of which further burden your legs and reduce mobility. But here's the beautiful truth. It's never too late to reclaim movement, no matter how long you've been still. Mr. George, 70, realized he was spending most of his days in an armchair watching TV. Simple tasks like grocery shopping left him winded. Instead of giving up, he started small, standing up during commercials, walking laps around his living room, stretching his legs every morning. Within weeks, he noticed more energy, stronger strides, and a spark he thought he had lost. Movement doesn't have to be complicated. A walk around the block, a few minutes of gentle stretching, light exercises done while seated. Every bit of movement wakes your muscles up again, reminding them they are still alive, still capable, still yours. Your legs are waiting for you, and every step you take, no matter how small, is a step back toward freedom. The joint betrayal, how arthritis silently weakens your foundation. It often begins with a small stiffness in the morning, a quiet ache after a walk, a subtle hesitation before climbing the stairs. You tell yourself it's just part of getting older. But slowly that stiffness turns to pain, and that pain to limitation. This is the hidden betrayal of osteoarthritis, the silent wearing down of the very joints that support your life. Osteoarthritis, or degenerative joint disease, affects millions over 50, especially in weight-bearing joints like the knees and hips. Over time, the cushioning cartilage between bones thins and erodes, leaving bones to rub painfully against each other. The result is swelling, pain, reduced flexibility, and a growing reluctance to move. But here's the heartbreaking part. When movement decreases, muscles weaken, balance worsens, and mobility shrinks even further. What starts as joint pain quietly ripples out, undermining leg strength and independence. Yet within this struggle lies an opportunity. Movement, gentle, consistent movement, is one of the best defenses against osteoarthritis. Low-impact activities like swimming, water aerobics, and stationary biking allow joints to move freely without excessive stress. Strength training tailored to the legs, even using simple resistance bands, can stabilize joints and protect them from further damage. Mrs. Clara, 68, once thought her arthritic knees meant the end of her active lifestyle. But with her doctor's guidance, she began water exercises twice a week and added simple leg strengthening routines at home. Month by month, her pain lessened, her strength returned, and her confidence bloomed. There are also medical treatments available: anti-inflammatory medications, physical therapy, and in some cases joint injections, all valuable tools when used thoughtfully with professional guidance. Osteoarthritis may change the journey, but it doesn't have to define the destination. Protect your knees, your hips, and your spirit with patience, movement, and mindful care. Your foundation is still strong. You just need to honor it. Medication's hidden toll. Are your pills sabotaging your strength? When we take medication, it's usually with hope for healing, relief, protection. But sometimes, hidden beneath the benefits, medications carry silent side effects that slowly chip away at our strength. One of the most overlooked culprits behind weakening legs after 50 is medication-induced myopathy, muscle damage caused by certain prescription drugs. Statins, prescribed to lower cholesterol and protect the heart, are one of the most common contributors. Corticosteroids, often used for inflammation or autoimmune diseases, can also thin muscles over time. Even some cancer therapies and antidepressants have been linked to gradual muscle loss. At first, the changes seem small: a little more fatigue after a walk, a strange heaviness climbing stairs. Many dismiss these early signs, unaware that the medications helping one part of their body may be quietly weakening another. But awareness is power. If you notice unusual muscle weakness, tenderness, or cramping after starting a new medication, don't ignore it. Talk openly with your doctor. Never stop medications abruptly, but ask if there are alternative options, dosage adjustments, or supportive strategies, like strength-building exercises or supplements. Mr. Robert, 65, loved his evening walks, but found himself tiring quickly after being prescribed a new cholesterol medication. After consulting his doctor, they adjusted the dosage and added a simple home exercise plan focused on leg strength. Within months, Robert was back to enjoying his twilight strolls, stronger and steadier than before. Medication-induced myopathy doesn't have to steal your vitality. With mindful attention, early conversations with healthcare providers, and gentle strength training, you can protect your muscles and your independence without sacrificing the treatments you need. Your strength is precious. Guard it wisely, even in places you might not expect. Bones of glass: how osteoporosis breaks more than just bones. It's easy to think of our bones as strong and unbreakable, the silent scaffolding holding us upright. But as we age, that scaffolding can quietly weaken, becoming fragile like glass. Osteoporosis, often called the silent disease, thins and weakens bones so subtly that many don't realize the danger until something snaps. For many seniors, it's a small stumble, a trip over the doorstep, a misstep on the stairs, that suddenly leads to a fracture. And when a hip or leg bone breaks, it doesn't just impact the skeleton. It affects muscle strength, mobility, independence, and even emotional resilience. Harvard Health warns that a single fracture can set off a devastating chain reaction. Weeks of immobility weaken leg muscles dramatically, balance worsens, confidence erodes, and the risk of future falls skyrockets. But osteoporosis isn't an unstoppable force. There are powerful ways to protect your bones and your future. It starts with nourishment. Calcium and vitamin D form the foundation for bone health. Foods like dairy products, leafy greens, salmon, and fortified cereals help supply what your body needs to keep bones dense and resilient. Weight-bearing exercises like walking or gentle strength training signal your bones to stay strong, even as you age. Routine bone density screenings are also critical. Detecting thinning bones early allows for interventions, from diet changes to medications, that can prevent fractures before they happen. Take Miss Elena, 70, who discovered early-stage osteoporosis after a simple screening. Rather than feel defeated, she embraced a new routine: short daily walks, calcium-rich meals, and a gentle yoga practice. A year later, her scans showed stabilization, and her spirit felt stronger too. Bones may grow more fragile with time, but with mindful action, they don't have to break your life apart. Protect them today, and you protect every step, every embrace, every dream that still lies ahead. The double burden: obesity and muscle loss, colliding against you. Sometimes the weight we carry is visible, and sometimes it's hidden deep within. As we move through our 50s and beyond, many face a silent, double-edged challenge: carrying extra body fat while losing vital muscle strength. This dangerous pairing is called sarcopenic obesity, and it places an enormous burden on our legs and our lives. Obesity alone strains the joints, particularly the knees, hips, and ankles, making movement heavier and harder. But when fat replaces lost muscle, as it often does with aging, the problem compounds. Muscles meant to support and stabilize become weaker, even as the body grows heavier. Walking short distances, climbing stairs, even rising from a chair becomes a daunting task, not from lack of will, but from the physical imbalance within. Cleveland Clinic experts highlight that sarcopenic obesity increases the risk of falls, fractures, diabetes, heart disease, and faster loss of independence. Yet, because the scale may not shift dramatically, many don't realize their muscles are quietly fading. But awareness brings power. Addressing sarcopenic obesity isn't about chasing a perfect body. It's about reclaiming function and freedom. Small, sustainable changes can tip the scales back in your favor. A nutrient-dense diet, rich in lean proteins, colorful vegetables, healthy fats, and whole grains, helps nourish muscles while gently guiding weight loss. Gentle strength training a few times a week can rebuild lost muscle mass, even after decades of decline. Activities like walking, swimming, or cycling awaken dormant muscles without punishing the joints. Mr. Lee, 66, felt trapped in a cycle of fatigue and weight gain after retirement. Instead of giving up, he started slow, replacing sugary snacks with nuts and yogurt, taking evening walks with his granddaughter. Over time, he shed pounds, built back strength, and regained the simple joy of moving with ease. Your body carries the story of your life, but you have the power to turn the page. Healing begins not with punishment, but with compassion, patience, and small, persistent steps toward reclaiming the vitality that has always been yours. When the brain forgets to move, strokes lasting impact on your legs. One moment, everything feels normal. A morning cup of coffee, a walk to the mailbox, a laugh shared with a friend. The next, the body betrays itself. A stroke strikes suddenly, cutting off blood to parts of the brain, and in an instant, movement becomes a memory rather than a reflex. When a stroke damages areas of the brain responsible for motor control, the effects ripple through the body, especially the legs. Hemiparesis, weakness on one side, can make walking, standing, even shifting weight a monumental challenge. Muscles that once moved effortlessly now hesitate, tremble, or fail to respond at all. But as devastating as it can feel, a stroke is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new, courageous chapter, one filled with resilience, patience, and hope. Rehabilitation is the bridge back to strength. Physical therapy, starting as early as possible, helps retrain the brain and body to work together again. Simple exercises to rebuild muscle tone, balance training to prevent falls, walking practice with assistive devices, every effort plants the seeds of recovery. Mr. Paul, 72, suffered a mild stroke that left his right leg weak and unreliable. At first he despaired, but with daily therapy, fierce determination, and endless encouragement from his family, he slowly regained control. One shaky step at a time, he rebuilt his strength, and with it, his sense of self. Preventing strokes in the first place is equally vital. Managing high blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol, staying active, eating a heart-healthy diet, and recognizing early warning signs can all reduce the risk dramatically. A stroke may momentarily pause your journey, but it does not erase it. With mindful care and relentless hope, you can teach your legs and your spirit to move forward again, because every step reclaimed is a victory, not just for the body, but for the life that still yearns to be fully lived. If you take away one thing from this journey, let it be this. Every small step you take today, every stretch, every nourishing meal, every moment you choose to move, is a giant leap toward a freer, stronger tomorrow. Leg strength isn't just about muscles. It's about reclaiming your independence, your passions, your confidence to live life on your terms. And the beautiful truth is, it's never too late. Not at 50, not at 70, not even at 90. Healing doesn't belong to the young, it belongs to the willing. You don't need to conquer everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin with one small, compassionate choice. Walk a little farther, stretch a little deeper, smile a little wider, knowing that every action, no matter how small, is a declaration. I am not giving up on myself. At Buddhist Health, we believe in the extraordinary power of small beginnings. Because every step matters, every choice echoes, and every tomorrow is built from the courage you find today. So if you're ready, take that first step now. One step, one choice, one today, for a stronger, more vibrant life ahead. We'll be walking beside you every step of the way.